friends, welcome back to the Pages and Pearls YouTube channel. My name is Hannah. I make videos about knitting. Recently not so many anymore, but we're trying to counter that. And today we're trying to counter that with a follow-up to actually what is my most popular video, I think. About a year and a few months ago, I made a roundup of 10 tiny scarf patterns that was following the Sophie scarf craze, or if you can call it a craze, and I wanted to make a roundup of other patterns that fit this whole idea of making a tiny scarf with a special to you yarn, leftovers, to stash bust, to whip up a quick knit. Any of these would be great reasons to knit a tiny scarf, and I wanted to make a summary of patterns that I had found at that point if you were looking for something other than the Sophie scarf. Nothing against the Sophie scarf, I've made one myself, I really enjoyed it, but because this video is popular and because since more tiny scarf patterns have come out, or I've become aware of more of them, I wanted to do like a 2.0 version of this and give you 10 more patterns that you can use special skeins with, and to just add tiny small accessories to your outfits, protect your throat. It's August now, so maybe going into autumn, this is also something nice, at least in the Northern Hemisphere for now, to add to your outfit. I don't want to beat around the bush for too long. This is supposed to be a tiny video for tiny scarves. So let's get started with number 1, and that is the Italian summer scarf, or an Italian summer scarf, which is what I'm also wearing. This pattern is by an Italian knitter, Francesca, who also has her own very nice YouTube channel. And we're in the last days of summer, so this as a summer scarf fits. It's a triangular shaped scarf. I will just show it to you. It's a triangular shaped scarf, so it's pointier towards the edge, and it has this combination of garter stitch and eyelet pattern. It's very fun and easy to knit. It's a free pattern, which is great as well, and you can adjust it very easily to different yarn weights. I've been wanting to try knitting for olive compatible cashmere, but it's a bit on the pricier side, so this was great for me to try it out. I used 50 grams in total, so 2 balls. I held it double to make this very, very soft scarf that is amazing to wear around the neck, where I'm usually a little bit more sensitive to not scratchy yarns, but more like very fuzzy yarns. So alpaca around my throat isn't the nicest. Yeah. Francesca also has other great free scarf patterns out, so among them an Italian bandana, which has a slightly different shape but still has nice eyelet details and garter stitch. And I've also included both an Italian summer scarf and an Italian bandana in the Ravelry collection, which is linked in the show notes. All of the patterns are linked there. Well, or the roundup of patterns is linked there, so that you can just go into Ravelry and see the overview of all the patterns that I put together. Number 2 is the small fry scarf by Samantha Guerin. This is another triangular shaped scarf. It's suggested to be knit in a sport weight and requires 100 gram, and the sample is knit, I think, in Rerum Natura Ulysse, which I've never worked with, but I would love to. So again, that would be a great one to just try out a new yarn. And I love the textured look of this. And the instruction actually says that it's just knit and slip stitches, so the texture looks kind of more intricate than it is difficult. So I think this could be a very beginner-friendly tiny scarf. Then number 3, by the way, these are in no ranked order. This is just what I came up with, right? So number 3 is the Barbara shawl by Gregoria Fibres. This pattern actually includes a shawl and a shawl pattern and a small version, and I'm talking about the small version here because the shawl is gorgeous, but you would need more yarn for that. The bandana requires 100 grams of fingering weight, so 1 special skein is just about enough for you to make this, and it starts at the tip and then you increase until the midpoint. Same for this one, by the way, and I think also same for the previous one I talked about. And then you decrease again, so it might be fine to adjust if you have other yarn quantities. You just have to keep track of how much of the yarn you've already used so that you know when you need to turn around. Obviously, if you use less yarn, still you need to make sure that you have enough fabric to wrap around your neck. Then another really nice looking one is the Sola scarf by Ventzel. It's another patterned triangular scarf, and I just love the way that the increases look here. They come off the tip in this kind of like rib, and it just looks really, really nice. This one is suggested in a DK weight, so you can either use DK or hold fingering double. And the sample is knit in 50 grams of Eco Cashmere by Gepard. And for not as lightweight materials as cashmere, I guess like for a merino you would need up to 100 grams. I haven't made this one yet, but this one actually has been on my list quite long. Then if you like the mix of garter and eyelet that you see here, but want a slightly different shape, I also found the Party Line scarf by Kaci Apple, who is also Young Folk Knits here on YouTube. This is a very cute scarf that calls for a sport weight yarn, but you could also probably easily use fingering or DK weight and adjust the needle size. Same goes for all the previous scarves I talked about. I think since it's a pattern, like a garment that you're not wearing and that needs to be fit, I don't know, like your shoulders and your width and whatever, since it's a scarf, you can probably play around with it more. This one, the Party Line scarf, doesn't have the very classical like triangular shape of all the scarves that I talked about just until now, but it looks more like a shape of a necktie, where you have the pointy edges or pointy tips, and then you go into a longer like straight section in the middle. Up next, the Brioche Bandana by Helene Beba. This pattern comes with 2 sizes, and there's also a scarf version, but the scarf version is a separate pattern. The cool thing is that this one is in a brioche stitch, so it's great if you, like me, want to learn a new technique without having to commit to a whole garment, or also getting out of it more than just a swatch, right? You get actually a mini scarf out of it if you practice with it. So this is knit, as I said, in brioche, and the small size requires under 25 grams of cashmere yarn. So if you would buy this one, probably the Knitting for Olive, it's less than 1 ball. And the larger size obviously gives you a bit more neck coverage and then requires a little bit more. But I think this pattern is both great for trying out brioche and also trying out if you want to try out a more bougie yarn but don't want to break the bank. If you like the kind of more like ribbed texture, the Alex scarf by Pernille Larsen might also be for you. So this is a pattern that comes with 3 different size options, and they are also different for a different gauge. So it's pretty cool for leftovers, since basically the pattern spells out for you what quantity of each of the yarns you would need for the different sizes. So many of us here like to knit with Knitting for Olive yarns. Pernille Larsen is Knitting for Olive basically. So maybe this is a nice idea for swatching new color combinations that you're not sure about, or if you have any mohair and merino leftovers from a garment. I think these scarves would be really great for that, and you could make a really cute set, maybe matching your sweater. Now, another really great one for all of us lace lovers out there would be the Turtle Dove Shawl by Sari Nordlund. This one came out as an advent pattern in 2023, which I thought was pretty cool because only sections of the pattern were being revealed gradually. Now, obviously, the entire pattern is out, and this one is really great if you want to have a more engaging pattern to knit. So there are bubbles and light cables and just all over texture. And this scarf calls for a ball of mohair and a ball of fingering. So again, like in the previous one, if you have maybe leftovers from a sweater quantity, but otherwise also 100 gram DK weight might be fine. Just as a note, Sari Nordlund also has many other great small scarf patterns for quantity of 150 gram ball of fingering, 125 gram ball of mohair or DK. I won't go into all of them here, but there's also the Beach Day shawl, the Kuutar shawl, and the Poet scarf, which are all absolutely stunning, and I also added them to the Ravelry collection that I made, so you can check them out there. And then we also have the Eclair scarf by Sari Nordlund. Now this one is for our cable lovers out there. It's a beautiful triangular shaped scarf with all over cables, a really neat slip stitch edge, and it calls for a worsted or DK weight. The only thing is that at the moment I think this pattern is not available because it came out to subscribers of a yarn club. It does say that it will come out soon-ish, so hopefully we will all be able to access this pattern at some point soon. If it takes a longer while, I also found the Kaarina shawl, also by Sari Nordlund, also cabled, but they look a bit different, but also very beautiful. So cables, cable lovers, you're covered as well. And then last but not least is the Netty scarf by Lily Kate France, or Lily Kate Makes. This one is probably more like a neck accessory and style highlight than something to actually keep you warm. But it looks really fun because it has this all over mesh. And the pattern comes in different sizes and requires fingering weight yarn. For the smaller size, it actually says that 2 20-gram minis are enough. So you could make maybe a two-tone version if you have several minis lying around. Otherwise, she also says in the pattern description that a single 100-gram skein gives you a big and a small scarf. So I guess maybe that's like 60-40. I'm not sure, like the gram amounts, but definitely the small version you can get away with very little. Actually, it's 40. It makes sense because I just said 2 20-gram minis. Yeah, so 40 grams is the minimum probably that you will need for this one. That was short, sweet, but that's 10 more tiny scarves for you to stash bus, try special skeins, use leftovers, or whip up some lovely gift knits. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know which one of these catches your eye, or if you've made any of these before. I'd love to hear it. And I will talk to you some more in the comments, and hope to see you for another video soon. Bye bye.